Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I am going to be playing Unlimited until I lose an Unlimited game. That's pretty much it. That's the premise of the video, is just playing until I lose. Just gonna show y'all some clips of some gameplay. I streamed this actually a couple nights ago on my Twitch channel, and my Twitch channel link, by the way, is always down in the description of every single video. If y'all want to go follow me over there, join up when I'm streaming, because I stream basically every single day over on Twitch. If y'all want to follow me over there, I would appreciate it. But yeah, it's really a pretty simple video, just showing y'all basically gameplay of mine and playing until I lose. The game that I lose is a really close game. It's a really competitive game. It's a very interesting game, and I definitely think it's a game that y'all are going to want to stick around and watch. I think it's honestly a very solid game and something that you can learn a lot from in this game as well. So it's kind of like almost an offshoot of Comp Diaries. Like it's kind of one of those types of videos where I'm going to be talking y'all through the way that I play the game and things that I do and things that I could do better, things my opponents can do better, things of that nature. Kind of skimming through games that I win for the most part, and then going a little bit more in depth in the one game that I do wind up losing. So hopefully you do enjoy this different type of video. It also is post commentary. Just by the way, I'm going to be post commentarying all of the gameplay. So the only thing that I'm actually live recording is the intro and the outro. But yeah, definitely a different type of video. If you do enjoy it, make sure you hit that like button, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help me push towards that 3,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into the gameplay, and yeah, hop right into the post commentary as well. All right, so this post commentary thing, I will admit, this is the first time I'm doing it. First game we match up against Steve Francis, Clay Thompson. He had AK, and then I forget, Sean Marion and Tim Duncan. And I saw this team, knew it was a good squad. Not the greatest squad though. When I see Tim Duncan, I'm not super worried in general. I will admit, I'm just going to say this. This is my first time doing a post commentary on a video like this, so it might be a little bit tough. We get the nice pop to D-Rob to start off the game and knock down a 3. And this first game is a decent game. My opponent wasn't a bad player, but it wasn't a super sweaty game at all. So, wound up being a relatively easy game, which was nice. And the thing about Tim Duncan and seeing him on my opponent's team, unless you're a really good player, I'm not super stressed about seeing him because his ability to stretch the floor is limited. We get a nice steal there with AK, play that lane perfectly, get ourselves a nice dunk to go up 5-0. And this game was just kind of one of those games. He kept it close for a while. I'll give him props. He did a good job of keeping it close, keeping it competitive. Penny is my favorite point guard in the game, by the way, right now. His ability to slash is super nice. And this, my opponent kept giving up the pop. He gave up the pop several times to D-Rob and my other bigs, which, if you're going to give up the pop, get wide open threes, you're going to struggle just inherently. That's kind of the way it's going to be. But yeah, that being said, when I post commentary video, there are definitely going to be instances where I'm going to say things that are wrong and mess them up and all that stuff. But bear with me on that. This is my first time doing a post commentary like this as well. Great defense by Giannis. And we could have had a turnover there if he could have blocked it in bounds, but I think we do wind up getting a stop here anyway. And I tried to splice up these games, showed little kind of intermittent points in each of these games until the game that I wound up actually losing, which I'm going to go a lot more in depth in. But we get to the rim, nice play with Clay, and we get ourselves an easy dunk. We're up 13. I'm sorry, we're up like, I think we're up 8 at that point. We get a steal there with Clay. Throw it over to D-Rob. We had play take and knock down the 3. Play take over on Penny is so nice. You can really just throw it over and shoot basically anything lightly and under and feel pretty confident in greening it. Play take is just a really valuable takeover to have right now. As you'll see, his CPU will switch right there for no reason. Honestly, Sean Marion helping down. And we hit Silas in the corner, knock down a 3. Still a 10-point game. Like I said, my opponent did a pretty good job of keeping it close. It was a relatively competitive game. Y'all can see how Penny is moving right now, though. Getting to the rim. I should have taken my dunk. That was my fault, honestly. Poor decision by me to not take my dunk there. But at this point, we green a 3 there. We're up 13 with 2 minutes left. It's looking pretty promising to wind up getting a W. And yeah. Wound up being a pretty comfortable game. Great defensive play there with AK as well, reaching. We wind up getting in that lane, getting the steal. Throw it over to Clay. We take our easy bucket and knock down. Up 16 at this point, 10 seconds left. And yeah, we're basically just going to finish off. We get a bump here. Throw it up to Clay. He's got sharp take. I take the 3. Green, a nice, tough 20% contest. I paused him. I was being toxic. I was on stream. I should have done that. A little bit toxic, kind of unnecessary. But you know what? We do wind up finishing that out and finishing the first game with a 19-point dub. Second game, dude's got John Morant, Ray Allen, Carmelo, Kevin Garnett, Dikembe Mutombo. When I see Dikembe Mutombo at this point, I'm not super stressed about having a chance to win that game just because I think Dikembe is a little bit outdated. Also, when he's running jaw against Penny, that's going to be a tough matchup for him. And he throws a bad pass there. You can't throw that pass to the guy sitting on the wing. That's something I'm baiting a lot, and you'll see that a lot of casual quote-unquote players will throw a lot. Good crab there by Clay. We get an open three, we knock it down. Clay runs my offense. For those of you who don't know, I mean, Clay, I think, is one of the best primary ball handlers in the game right now. I think he's by far the best shooting guard. Really, really good card. And this was another game where my opponent kind of sort of kept it close for a bit, but I think he winds up quitting like right in here somewhere. We green this three with Clay, I do believe, and I think that's where he called it right there. He quits, and second game was over pretty quick. Ended it in the first quarter with a 24-14 dub. Third game, match against a really solid squad. He's got John Wall, Michael Redd, KD, Giannis, D-Rob. Like, it's a very solid team, but I'm not super worried about the team as a whole because he doesn't have a primary ball handler, and that's the first thing I note. When you're running Michael or John Wall and you're not running him next to a guy like Klay Thompson or even James Harden who can handle the ball effectively at the starting point guard or shooting guard position, I'm not super worried about that because I don't think your team construction is very good. So that kind of gives me the idea that you're probably not the best in terms of team construction as a whole, and as y'all can see, we do wind up starting off this game again pretty well, and he's pretty boxed on defense. I'm sorry, on offense. Doesn't really have a lot of shot creators. Really doesn't have very many shot creators, much of any shot creation at all on his floor. We get a nice stop there. Good, solid defense. Just playing straight up against a team like this, you don't want to make mistakes and keep them in the game. And we get a nice pull-up mid-range here. And I think, I don't think this game lasted long either. I think this was another game that went by pretty quickly. He does... I forget how early he wound up quitting, but I do believe it was pretty early in the game as he throws it into Giannis. Another good defensive possession. He gets a lucky animation like that right there. If it goes in, it goes in. You got to live with shots like that. If people are going to hit heavies occasionally, just with the way that online versus is this year and how easy it is to score. And we throw it right back in though. He jumps, easy mash. It's gonna be an easy bucket every single time in that type of situation. But yeah, when somebody scores a bucket like that on defense, you just can't let yourself get flustered. Great defense by Penny, playing that lane beautifully. Should have been my steal, and it does wind up being my steal after ball gets hit around a little bit. That's that same pass that I've now I think shown 3 times already. That may not have been the best take right there. Could have been blocked, but that pass that I showed right there is a pass that you can't be throwing in this game. You just simply are not going to be able to get away with throwing that pass consistently. Solid defense there as well. We X switched so that my D-Rob goes to guard his Giannis in the corner. People have videos on X switching on YouTube if you want to see that, and I might even make a video on X switching soon. Nice crab there as well with Clay, and we're up 20-7, playing really, really well in this game. Really played smoothly in this one as a whole. And I thought my opponent was going to quit there. He didn't wind up quitting there, but I do believe he does wind up quitting pretty soon, like in the next couple of minutes, or even maybe next couple of possessions. A solid lob there. That's a good lob. He does get an easy bucket there, but I think I get the ball right back to Clay. I think we wind up getting another 3 on this possession. I'm not 100% sure, but Clay was cooking in this game, definitely doing his thing. Gets a nice crab, pulls up for 3 and greens it. And I don't think he wound up staying in the game much longer. I'm not entirely sure how long this guy wound up staying in the game. Great bump by Penny there. Yes, sir. That's beautiful. Throw it over to Clay, pump fake. He fouls, and right there, that's where he winds up quitting. 23-9 win, and we're through 3 games pretty darn quickly. Now, 4th game. Coming in from this guy's team, again, super solid, but Tim Duncan at the 4 is kind of one of those things where I'm not quite as concerned about the team that he's running as a whole, just because, I mean, Tim Duncan's release is kind of slow, and if you're running him at the 4, I just don't think that's great team construction. And this wound up being another just blowout. I didn't even wind up showing much of this game. Really tough shot there by Clay. I threw that one in there at the end just to show off a little bit at the end of this game. But this is just wound up being another blowout. Nice steal for Clay as well. Clay did his thing. My team did their thing in this game. This guy's team construction wasn't great, and he wound up playing out pretty much the whole game, but we get an easy blowout win. And yeah, improved to 4-0 on the video. Now we're to a game that is interesting. Coming in and facing against my boy Greatest. And if y'all don't know Greatest, he's one of the better competitive players on the Xbox side, one of the best defensive MyTEAM players in the world. Really, really good Pro-Am center as well. Just a really solid all-around 2K player. And this winds up being a really, really good game. And this is a game that I definitely want to stop and take a look at and watch a significant portion of this game. Because I definitely made some mistakes. I haven't been playing this game quite as much as of late. We do wind up taking that up. That could have, if he had done more of a safe dunk, that could have been a dunk. Unfortunately, it gets blocked. Probably should have waited and not gone up with that and hoped that he jumped instead. But yeah, this winds up being a really nice competitive game, and I think this is definitely a game that's more worth taking a look at. Not going to spoil yet if this is the game that I wind up losing or not, but yeah, you're just gonna have to watch and find out. But really solid game. Greatest is a great player. He wants to hit a tough shot there. Good start to the game, and y'all will see throughout this game the way that this game is played right now is kind of challenging. A competitive game in my team right now is just really, there's a lot of struggle buckets is the way that I'll describe it. Nice crab by Clay. He jumps with his Dolph, does get a contest, and I green a tough shot right back. We both green Latley's 3s to start off this game. And skipping ahead just a bit, he's got a 1-point lead late in the first quarter. Not honestly sure entirely what happens here, but yeah, it's just the struggle. The offense in my team right now is there's a lot of like luck to scoring on the offensive end of the court against an elite defensive player. And Greatest is an elite defensive player, and I like to consider myself an elite defensive player as well. There's a lot of really good, it's tough to score effectively and run good offense right now with how easy it is to play defense, especially with the new dribble patch. It's just hard to create open shots consistently and dribble effectively. And Greatest didn't even really try to dribble that much, to be completely honest. Passes out of that with the bailout right there. And you see he's running Tim Duncan, but he does a much more effective job of using Tim. I do a great job of clicking onto Penny there and get myself a nice steal. D-Rob goes up with a front clutch, doesn't get blocked, thankfully, and I think Greatest comes down and hits a 3 on this possession. I'm not entirely sure. Want to watch it back and see. Pretty good defense, but I clicked off a D-Rob. I would have had that steal if I hadn't clicked off a D-Rob. I predicted the pass that he was going to throw, but I predicted it too early, and I wound up clicking off D-Rob, which gets him the open 3 with Dolph there. And it's just a lot of, in all honesty, there's a lot of luck to scoring the ball right now. Draw a foul right there. We are going to knock down a couple free throws, and I believe I go into the second quarter up by like 2. Still up by 2. This animation right here, look at Tim playing defense. That's not an animation you get a lot right now in 2K, is that animation right there. I don't think he meant to shoot that. I'm pretty sure he meant to pump fake there, and the game forced him to shoot that. But that animation, that block animation by Tim right there was really, really impressive. It's not an animation that you expect to see a lot in my team currently. And as y'all can see, it's just tough to score the ball right now. I don't know why my Giannis goes to the corner there. If he cuts straight down the lane, that's an easy bucket, and that winds up being a little bit frustrating to me. I try to mash, he jumps at the right time, gets himself a block, and gets the turnover. That just frustrates me because if Giannis had rolled down the lane the way that he should have, that would have been an easy dunk. Unfortunately, he doesn't, and then he throws it right to me with D-Rob as well, and I don't wind up getting the steal, which annoys me. He goes out, hits a 3, good shot, but I feel like I should have probably had a turnover on that possession. He's up 2, still has the ball, and I think in the second quarter, I don't play quite as well. That's poor defense. I overplayed too high on that screen and allowed him to reject the screen and get himself an open 3-point look. Should not have played that high with Clay. I should have let my CPU take care of that, and unfortunately, I did wind up messing that up a bit, which does hurt. We wind up going downhill. We were with Giannis, kick it out. That could have been a steal. I mean, just the defensive animations in this game are kind of crazy. It's wild how good the defensive animations are in this game compared to how poor some of the offensive animations are currently. We wind up slipping the screen. The way you slip a screen is by holding LB to call the screen, and then you tap or you hold it again to release the screener, basically. So you release him towards the basket previous to actually activating and using the screen. So I slip the screen there, get myself a wide open dunk because he's hedging a little bit high on the screen, and I do a good job of slipping that and getting myself a bucket. And as you can see, it's just struggle buckets. Nobody's moving effectively on offense. Nobody's creating space. The defense is really sitting. I mean, AK sits on every possession. We both have AK on ball. It's very hard to score effectively. He's forced to take up a bad shot. We get us bored with D-Rob and throw it over to AK. Stop on the break, wide open for 3. You're going to knock down the white, even though I didn't green it more often than not. And it's a tie game with a minute left in the second quarter. Unfortunately, I did not play very well to end off the second quarter. As y'all can see, hopping into the third quarter, he's up 37-30. He goes on a mini run at the end of the second quarter, and I put myself in a bit of a hole there. I think he winds up scoring on this first possession as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to show a lot of the second half because it's a good half of basketball. But as y'all can, I just want y'all to see that should have been probably a bit of steal. If I had predicted it just a second earlier, or split second earlier, I would have had that steal. But he does wind up getting the bucket there. He's up 9, and now I've put myself in a bit of a hole. And when you're in a near double-digit hole like this at this point in the game, you just can't afford to. You can't afford to put yourself in a hole like this because it becomes very, very hard to score effectively. I get the ball bumped for me somehow there, wind up trying to go up, and Mikan won't go up, so he winds up getting the foul off and resetting the offense, which forces me to create another offensive possession. It's really hard to score effectively in this game right now, and he's doing a good job of making me work for my buckets, but it's just, you're going to see in the second half, there's a lot of struggle buckets right now in my team. That's just the way the game is played. It's very hard to score effectively. I run around him with Carmelo, get to the rim, get my dunk blocked, but I mean, even there, it's run around in circles and almost get lucky with a bucket. We get a post spin and we get a dunk. Like, not a lot of quality offense being run. You're going to see that on both sides here in the second half. Could have easily had a steal there with Silas. I was darn close to it. And because I reached out of position, I wound up giving up a bucket there. And that's the type of thing that you kind of have to, it's a risk reward, because if you don't get it, you're giving up a bucket. But if you do get it, it's a turnover. And I think right now, I probably do a little bit too much of that in my gameplay just because of how hard it is to score against quality straight up defense. So I think I take too many chances sometimes trying to get some of those steals and make too many mistakes as we get Mike and going to the rim. I might have had a dunk there actually if I had continued that. I didn't expect me to get the blow by that I did, and I get to the rim there with Gary. He's too late coming out of the corner with Jonathan Isaac, not able to get the block, and it's a 7-point game. And this winds up being a pretty close game down the stretch. So some of the mistakes that I wound up making do wind up costing me just a bit. He tries to slip the screen, and he does slip the screen. That should have been a steal. I tapped X. My Mikan didn't animate. I saw the slip on the screen. I came over with Mikan, didn't get the steal, and that, admittedly, that frustrated me. I'll be honest, I'm not watching my facial reactions too much. Like I said in the intro, I did stream this over on Twitch. Go follow my Twitch, just by the way. Short plug. But yeah, there were a couple moments in the second half that did frustrate me just a bit, just because you're limited in what you can do. And when you're in a position to get a stop and you don't get the stop, it kind of annoys you. And he wound up scoring on that possession, which is a little bit unfortunate. And it's just so hard to score. I mean, you see, neither of us can dribble effectively because of the dribble patch. It's just not easy to get open looks. It's just so hard to create consistent offense. I wind up drop stepping and he tries to get a strip, does draw the foul. Like, it's just trying to force buckets and figure out a way to score effectively is very challenging in the game right now. And how to create quality offense. It's just a lot of, the term is struggle buckets. And you're going to hear me say that probably another couple times this video, but it's just really challenging to score right now. Throw it into Silas. He plays great defense, gets himself a steal. That's really good defense. He was sitting on my offense very effectively there, but I mean, you're going to see it on both sides. It's not just me struggling to score. He struggles to score as well, especially down the stretch in this third quarter and in the fourth quarter. It's just low scoring basketball. A lot of challenging buckets. We get a lucky illegal screen there, but I was right through on that screen anyway. He wasn't going to be scoring on that possession probably because I had him boxed. Like, it's just, you can pretty much tell halfway through a possession if somebody's going to be able to score or not, because if they can't get something going with their first or second option, you're just not going to be able to create offense consistently late in the shot clock. We have the slip there to Mikan, and he comes out the corner, and that frustrated me because it's a good defensive rotation by him getting over there with Isaac, and he gets a wide open three, so now he's up 12, and I've definitely put myself in a hole there. We wind up fighting back, as y'all will see, starting really about now, but that should have been a slip to Mike, and I tried to throw it earlier. If he throws the ball higher there, Jonathan Isaac is not coming out of the corner. I get bailed. No other description on what I can call that other than basically a bailout. I threw a lob. I thought Mikan was going to roll. Mikan popped. My Carmelo gets in and somehow gets lucky and gets to the stop there, which is blessed. Not a good shot selection by him. Steve Francis has a baited release, and that's a little bit deep as well. We wind up getting a nice contest there. Stop on the break with Carmelo. Throw it over to Wiggins. Green, a nice contested shot. I would have liked to see a 4-point foul there, but unfortunately am not able to get that foul. But we do wind up knocking down the three, a couple buckets in a row, and it's back to a 7-point game. Just got to get a couple stops. Playing really, really solid defense right now. And again, you'll just see it's so, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so dang hard to score right now. It's hard to get dudes into screens. Wiggins rejects that screen beautifully and fights through it. And my Wiggins is just sitting on defense, doing a great job defensively, sitting on that. That should have been a steal. And I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't get that steal because I sat on that pop perfectly, but he doesn't wind up getting the shot off anyway. He knows at that point that possession is dead. It's just the way it is. And it's just, as y'all can see over and over again, good defense beats mediocre offense right now. And I know that kind of makes sense, but it's just so easy to play effective defense, and it's so hard to score the ball effectively that two really good defensive players like me and Greatest are going to play a low scoring, challenging game. That's a shot I got to green. I got to green that shot, I will admit. Mike, it gets open, that's a shot I got to green. Can't waste an opportunity like that. When you get open shots, you got to take advantage of them, especially in a situation like this. I do a good job of X-switching my Mikan onto his Mikan, and playing pretty good defense. He tries to get a crab again. I do a really good job of closing out with Mike in there without jumping, so no chance at a foul, but I do wind up getting a nice contest, force the miss. I'm playing really solid defense the last couple possessions, and then I just go up with Wiggins. I'm like, screw it. You know what? I've got a head of steam going to the basket. I'm going to go up and hope I get a foul, and I do get lucky and wind up getting the contact dunk with that I was hoping for. You don't get a lot of contacts in this game, but occasionally you'll get one, and I do wind up getting there with Wiggins. He calls his screen and roll with Jonathan Isaac, tries to slip the screen. There's really nothing there. I do a great job of defense there. Gary Payton is beautifully in that lane, and I don't remember if I go up. I do go up with this shot right there. Get a nice match, get inside positioning, and it's down to a 3-point game. We played great defense, really cut him off the last few possessions, scored 9 points in a row, and have managed to cut this down to a 3-point game. Really doesn't have a lot, again, offensively. He might have had Steve Francis under the basket on that back cut, but that's about the only thing he would have had there. Same thing, might have had Steve Francis on that back cut, but that's about it, and he's just pretty boxed. There's nothing effective looking on that possession. He's not probably going to get a lot of good looks, and we wind up going to the fourth quarter in a 3-point game. So yeah, first possession of the fourth quarter, same thing. It's just running around in circles, hoping you get lucky. I mean, I get him into the screen, reject the screen with Gary Payton. We get ourselves a nice layup. I just don't feel like much of the offense being played right now in the competitive setting is a lot of impressive offense. It's hard to dribble. It's hard to create space. It's a lot of hoping you get guys into screens, hoping you get lucky, things of that nature. I try to come over with Paul Silas. Definitely too late on that rotation. I had to click off so I don't risk fouling on anything because I'm not in a position to get a steal there, or a block, I should say. And I think I get my starters back in pretty soon. We slip it to Mike, and he's behind on the slip with Tim Duncan, so I throw it in and I take my easy dunk. But this is it's just tough. The score is 48-47 right now in the fourth quarter, and it's been a lot of struggle buckets. I think he he does a good job mashing me there. I jumped on his second pump fake, thought he was going to go up. He does a good job of being patient and waiting until I jumped. Probably should not have jumped there and just played with, basically hoped that I would get lucky with an animation whenever he went up, and I didn't do a good job of that. Do a good job of deep hashing here, really good offense. If Mikan had spotted on the opposite hash, that's going to be a wide open three, but unfortunately, he just wants to stand next to Wiggins. But you know what? We still wind up getting an open look, knocking down a three, and it's a tie game at 50. Fouling to bring my starters in. That's the only reason I foul there. And yeah, I mean, I will admit, the one thing I will say about this game, this isn't one of the sweatiest games in the world. I wasn't like stupid locked in this game, but I definitely did want to win. And it's definitely a competitive game between two really good players. And yeah, do a good job of getting through that screen there. He's really got nothing going on the offensive end of the court. I know I can give Tim Duncan a little bit of space as well because of his limited jump shot. He gets a back cut there, and I get lucky on the block. I don't know where my Clay was playing, to be completely honest. I don't know why he was trailing that so much, but we do get a block here. We got an opportunity to potentially score the ball and take a lead. And my Clay just can't move. His John Wall is sitting so beautifully. I can't really create space to score the ball because he's just in perfect position at all times. Good defense. He winds up being in the lane, getting himself a steal with Tim Duncan. It's just so hard to score the ball right now. It's just, quite simply, that is the truth right now. It is very hard to score the ball, and he gets unlucky there, tries to do a dribble handoff, but he's standing right by the sideline, and Tim Duncan steps out of bounds while he is attempting that dribble handoff. So, yeah. I mean, we've played what? A total of we've played almost half the fourth quarter, and I think I've scored 7 points and he scored 4. And I think we wind up scoring another, I don't know, 12 points combined the rest of this game, something like that. You're just not going to score the ball a lot, as you see. You're not going to have the high-scoring games that you've had in the past for the games 70s, 80s, 90s that you would have had in 2K21, for example. If I had been a little bit more patient there, I might have had an open look there with Clay off of that crab. Might have had a crab there. And that's really the only way to effectively 3-hunt right now is get to a spot and then crab. That's a decent look. I can't hate on a look like that. And I get a good look. I get he's forced to help up with his center, which means that I get the offensive rebound for free, and I kick it out to the corner for 3. Nice shot by Penny, and I mean, that's a good offensive possession in all honesty. I created myself a good look, forced his center to help up, and I did a good job overall on creating myself a decent look and then an opportunity for an offensive rebound, even if I do miss that look. Really solid defense again. I thought I did a pretty good job of playing defense. He gets another patented struggle bucket. Just run around in a circle and hope you get something lucky, and that's exactly what happened there. He kind of ran away from me with John Wall, winds up getting to the rim and getting himself a dunk. And you just have to, there's a lot of that you have to do in the game right now because it is so hard to create offense effectively and score the ball at a high level. As y'all can see, it's the same thing this possession. I mean, I'm going to the rim with Penny, and I wind up getting myself a dunk with that drag back, getting an angle on the basket. But you have to do, that's like the only move you can do that you can consistently burst out of, is that drag back right there. And it just makes it tough to score the ball effectively. And with a 3-point lead here, this is a game, I will admit, that I should win in this situation. I'm in a good position. I'm playing great defense. And that foul, honestly, I don't think that was a bad foul. I know it's my first foul in the last 2 minutes, so now any other foul will send him to the free throw line. But I was in a position there where I thought I could have gotten a bump easily with Clay, and I don't wind up getting that bump, which is okay. Do a great job of covering the back door. I don't know where my Clay is going, or my AK is going, and that frustrates me. As you can see, my reaction, that annoyed me. I somehow misclicked and dragged AK away from the ball, and that's a 3-pointer that I shouldn't have given up. And I was playing great defense. He wasn't in a position to get that stop. And unfortunately, it doesn't wind up working out. So it is what it is. Trying to create a shot with Penny again. You see, just can't burst out a lateral movement currently. I tried to hit it out to AK. I try to mash, and that's just not there. Wind up fouling. It's a bad foul. Send it to the free throw line. And yeah, he's got an opportunity to take the lead with a minute left. Just, again, got to be better. I have a couple opportunities on offense, and I don't take advantage of them, and I make a couple mistakes on defense. That's a bad foul there. Can't send him to the free throw line, and knowing that I've already given my one foul to give in the last 2 minutes. And yeah, giving the ball to Clay, trying to see if we can create some offense. I forget what I do this possession exactly. I wound up getting actually, I got a pretty good look. That's a nice shot right there. We wind up tying it up at 57. That's a good look. Getting to his side, crabbing inside. That's going to be an open shot 99 times out of 100. And that's a shot you're going to knock down about 99 times out of 100 with a guy like Clay from the mid-range. So that's a high quality shot, and I'm very pleased that I was able to get that look. And again, another really solid defensive possession. It's just, there's a lot of struggle buckets. That's going to be the biggest thing that I will say. He's forced to call a timeout, and I'm really proud with the way that I have played defense in this game. The thing is, it's just so hard to score on offense that playing quality defense really doesn't always mean enough, because it's so hard to score the ball that it definitely it can be frustrating. And that 3 that I wound up giving up to his Clay when I accidentally misclicked to drag my AK too far away earlier in the quarter just winds up hurting me. And that's one mistake that I really couldn't afford to make, unfortunately. And that's the one mistake that I did wind up making. And unfortunately, instead of me having a lead, which I really should have if I had played better at the end of the second quarter and played better, not giving up a couple of those buckets that he really shouldn't have, that he really didn't earn in the fourth quarter. That's a position where I easily could be up 8 to 10 points. But unfortunately, I put myself in a position where it's a tie game, and I believe he winds up just getting a terrible struggle bucket right here, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not this possession. Oh no, he gets an offensive rebound, throws it out to Clay, shoots a terrible shot. I mean, that's an awful look. And I have an opportunity here to hold the ball pretty much for the last shot, or I could have thrown it over to AK. Instead, I throw it into Giannis, and I don't get the call, which is just like, oh, that is so disgusting that I don't wind up getting that call, because that should have been a foul, but I should have back cut AK to the rim. He had the spot. He tries to post spin me. I try to get a strip on it, and they wind up calling the foul, which is just a frustrating game. Too many mistakes. I got hoed a little bit down the stretch, but a couple mistakes that wind up pretty much costing me the game. And as y'all will see, he knocks down the second free throw, but I don't call a timeout. If this was a competitive tournament game, obviously I'd be calling a timeout here. I'm not going to run up the court and take a bad shot, which I'll admit is basically what I wind up doing here, throwing to Giannis, trying to space the floor, trying to get it inside, really have nothing, wind up throwing up a flick up with Clay, doesn't go in, and that is going to be the video. But yeah, just got to play better, put simply. It's got basically what you got to do. All right, so as y'all saw, definitely a solid game overall that we wind up losing. Won a few games in a row and did wind up losing to one of the better players on Xbox, which I totally am fine with. I will admit, wasn't super locked in that unlimited game. Definitely still streaming, talking to chat, all that stuff. It's not like I'm absolutely sweating the game as much as possible, trying to see how many games in a row I can win before I lose, like trying as hard as possible, because that might turn into a very long video, admittedly. But that was a really good game, and I hope that y'all did enjoy watching that game, and hopefully are able to learn some things from my gameplay and the mistakes that I made and the mistakes my opponent made. And as y'all see, just in general, offense is tough right now with the way that the game is post dribble patch. It's very, very hard to score the ball in my team, especially against an elite defensive player, and Greatest is an elite defensive player. So hopefully y'all did enjoy this video, did find it interesting. I know it's a little bit different type of video, but I hope y'all did enjoy and thought it was a good video. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.